Talk No Edit podcast with Africa Williams every Saturday at 9 a.m. Tune in.
My name is Kwame, and before anything good came into my life, I was just a boy waiting for his mother to come back. I was 7 years old, living in Ghana. Life wasn't easy, but I had my mother. And to me, that was everything. But the truth is, even before she left, things at home were not right. My mother had a boyfriend, and he wasn't a good man. There were nights I would hear his voice before I even saw him. Loud, angry, unpredictable. And sometimes, he would take that anger out on me. I remember being hit more than once. For things I didn't understand, for things I didn't do. And the hardest part wasn't even the pain. It was looking at my mother and seeing her do nothing. She saw it, she knew, and she let it happen. That kind of pain, it stays with you. I used to sleep with a knife under my pillow at 7 years old. Not because I wanted to hurt anyone, but because I was scared. Scared of what might happen if he came into my room. Scared of not being able to protect myself. No child should have to live like that. So when she took me to that orphanage, part of me was confused. But another part of me already knew what it felt like to be alone. We walked into a place filled with children. I didn't understand it then. But it was an orphanage. She spoke to someone there, then looked at me and said, "I'll be back." And she walked away. I waited that day, the next day, the next week. But she never came back. That was the beginning of my life in that orphanage. And it was hard. There were days we didn't have enough. Days we were ignored. And there were times I was beaten more than once. And the hardest part was nobody did anything about it. I learned quickly that I was on my own. I remember laying at night, thinking about my mother, wondering why she left me. Those questions stayed with me for years. But even in that pain, there was something in me that didn't give up. Looking back now, I know it was God keeping me. At 15, my life changed. I got the chance to come to the United States. I didn't know what to expect, but I knew I couldn't stay where I was. When I got here, I was placed with an adoptive family. They weren't my blood, but they treated me like I belonged. They cared about me. They listened. They showed me what love looked like. For the first time in my life, I felt safe. At 18, I got closer to God. Not just knowing about Him, but really seeking Him. Because when I looked back at everything I survived, I knew it wasn't just luck. I started praying, learning, healing. And slowly, my life began to change. As I got older, I worked hard. I stayed focused. I didn't let my past define me. And over time, I became successful. I built a life. I got married. I had children. And now when I look at them, I think about the boy I used to be. The one who was scared. The one who was hurt. The one who felt forgotten. And I remind myself, I made it. Not because life was easy, but because I kept going, and because God never left me, even when people did. If you're listening to this, and your life isn't where you want it to be, keep going. Trust God, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it hurts, because your story is not over. My name is Kwame, and I was left behind. But I was never forgotten. And for a long time, I thought I was. There were nights I felt invisible, like nobody saw me, like nobody cared, But now I understand something I didn't understand back then. God saw me every moment I was hurting. He saw me every time I felt alone. He was there. Everything I went through, it didn't destroy me, it shaped me. So wherever you are right now, don't stop, don't give up, because your story doesn't end in your pain. It can grow into something greater, just like mine did.